What is up, you guys? It is your boy Phoenix Brenton here, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Washington Commanders, and it's been a little bit of a while since I've done these, so I'm gonna just give you a little bit of a recap of what I actually do, and then we'll just get into the video. Which I apologize for the people that are just watching this I don't know, like months ahead or something. So you probably just skip like a minute and 30 seconds probably, and you'll probably be good. But before we get into today's video, like and subscribe. We're on the road to getting to 700 subscribers. Anyways, let's get into the video. So what I do is I pick a random team and I just plot them here, and I make a video talking about them. And in today's video, we are going to be doing the Washington Commanders. And I do think I am going to make a video discussing how am I going to juggle this, but also the beating every modern zombies map besides Vanguard zombies, because that's going to be a very interesting how I'm going to fit all of that. And then plus you got the Quagajo coming, so I can't really do that Thursday. Maybe next week, I guess. I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, what I do is get a team. We'll talk about their depth chart, what they did in free agency, in the draft, and then I do worst and what their worst record could be, and then what their best record, so floor and ceiling. That's basically what I do, and I also have a playlist of all the NFL teams, so go check that there. If your team isn't there yet, which to be fair, it's just started, I just probably haven't uploaded it yet, or it might not be on the playlist, which I really hope that doesn't happen. But anyways, enough said. Let's actually now get into the video. And the Washington Commanders did not have a good season last year. They were, I believe, the second worst team in their division last year, off of, I think, without a doubt, one of the worst free agencies I think any team had last year. And I don't think that's really much of the debate. Oh, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. Over the cap, free agents. And, like, they did do arbitrarily not a horrible job, like, building their team, I think, this year, or, well, this offseason. Like, they didn't really, I think, lose anybody major, if I'm not mistaken. They cut Tyler Balgier. That's, I guess, maybe one of the bigger losses that they had. Well, they lost Jacob Martin. Whoop-de-doo. You know? Like, they didn't really lose many players, but they did definitely gain some good assets on their team. I think a good example is Dyami Brown. A little bit of an underrated receiver to me. I think he could definitely be a WR3. I just don't think a lot of people have really given him a chance to really prove himself. So I'm kind of happy he went here. Charles Lampanani, who was formerly on the Chiefs. Kayvon Chason, maybe a bit of an underrated signing there. Afe Owe. I think that was all the big signings that they did this season. Obviously, they also extended Laramie Tunsil as well. They also went and drafted Sonny Styles with the 7th overall pick, which he is a candidate to potentially winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, so watch out for him for sure. But as much as they did improve their roster, there are still a lot of problems with this team, I think for sure. I mean, for starters, let's talk about the wide receiving position. Let's start off with that. This is your starting receiver core, according to ESPN, obviously. It is Scary Terry, right? I mean, Scary Terry's good. But then you got Luke McCaffrey and an Antonio Williams, who you drafted, I believe, in the 3rd round. I believe. Was it the 3rd round? Let me double check. Pretty sure if I just click on it, pretty sure it'll tell me. Yeah, he was the 71st pick by the Washington Commanders, which was their 2nd pick of the draft. Not a big fan of Antonio Williams. He just wasn't a guy I wasn't particularly like write home about player, but he isn't bad. Like I think he maybe was a top 10 receiver in the class, so I guess it's not bad. But like the fact that you're kind of relying on Luke McCaffrey, Antonio Williams, Traylon Burks, Damian Brown, Jerry Lane, Van Jefferson to try to be your number one is very absurd to me, I think. It's extremely, extremely absurd. So I just don't think it's smart. In my personal opinion, I don't think it is. And then also the running back room. Like, the running back room isn't horrible. Like, Jameer Ford, Karen Allen, Rashawn White, and then JCKM, their running back they drafted last year in the 7th round. It's a solid running back room. It's not great, but it's not bad necessarily. And their offensive line is all right. The more I look at it, the more I think it's not horrible. I am a little bit of a question mark at their guard position in particular. That's one of my biggest concerns, and maybe center too. But outside of that, I think this offensive line is pretty solid. And then you got the defense, which their defensive line is just extremely depthy as heck. Ovo Opeowe was definitely an overpay. He's a great addition. Their linebacking core is pretty good. But then their secondary, I think, is arguably their biggest weakness because their best players like Quay Martin or Nick Cross, and they're both safety. So, yeah, that's not a great thing to have if I'm very questionable about your entire secondary. It's very, very questionable. Not bad front seven, but not a great secondary. And also, not a great receiving core. Like, this team is just such a weird team. It's like, yeah, when JD Daniels is healthy, I think this team is a pretty good, this is a pretty good offense. But once again, it's kind of a matter of health at that point. So, if you do hear any noises, it's probably just that way. Just sleeping, my little baby. So, now we're going to be doing the floor and ceiling, and I mean, like, looking at their schedule's actually, like, I mean, first of all, I said this before, the NFC East, I think, might be one of the more tougher divisions in football, in my personal opinion. People may come and disagree with that, but it's just me. So, just a bit of insight. So let's start off with their floor. They definitely lose week 1 on the road. I think they lose actually multiple games in a row, actually. Like, they lose to the Eagles and the Cowboys on the road. Then you lose at home against Seattle. You lose at home against Indianapolis. I do think you get the win against New York, though, at home. You lose on the road against San Fran. You lose, even with the bye week, I think you still lose at home against Philly. You definitely lose at home against the Rams. You lose on the road against the Giants. I just think you can get the win against the Bengals, though, at home. Actually, no, never mind. I think the Cardinals could beat you. The Titans can certainly beat you on the road. The Texans can beat you at home. I do think you will win against Atlanta, though, at home for sure. And then you lose your last 2 games till week 18, where you get the win against the Cowboys at home. And that puts their record at 3-14, and that's definitely in the running for a potential top pick of the draft. So, yeah. And then we got their ceiling. Like, let's say if they got like a prime Jane Daniels, one of their players in the secondary like break out or something. I don't know, but I would say like their team is pretty decent regardless. Like, I don't think it's bad. I still think they lose their first 2 games though, for sure. Actually, their first 3 games, in fact. But you get the win in the UK against Indianapolis. You still get the win against the Giants. I do think you still lose on the road against San Fran. You get the win, though, at home against Philly. You still lose to the Rams at home, though. Then you get the win on the road against the Giants. You get the win at home against Cincinnati. You get the win on the road against Arizona. You get the win on the road against Tennessee. I do think you lose though at home against Houston. You get the win against the Falcons, get the win against the Vikings on the road. You lose to the Jaguars still on the road, but then you win against the Cowboys, putting their ceiling at a 10-7. So that it's a wild card spot at best. But like I said, it's at best a wild card spot. I don't think they're winning their division this year. It's either the Cowboys or the Eagles, probably. I don't think the Giants will either. I mean, maybe the Giants have a chance. Maybe, depending on how things happen. I guess I'm not sure exactly, but you kind of can see what I mean. I think their floor is awfully very low, but I think their ceiling is not insanely high. It's still decent, I think, without a doubt. Like, there are probably a couple of teams that I won't say their ceiling is 10-7. So the fact that I get the Commanders at 10-7, it's not bad. Like, this team has potential. Like I said, I like Jaden Daniels. Like, I really like this offense, except the receiving core outside of Scary Terry, obviously. And I think their front seven is very, very good and very well depth. But that secondary is just so concerning. And I think it's the secondary that concerns me the most. As much as the receiving core is incredibly just Scary Terry and that's it, that secondary is even more scary to me than their wide receiving core. But anyways, guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Just a little bit of a heads up, though. There is no video on Friday because of Kuwaka Joe coming out. So just to let you guys know of that ahead of time. But I will be starting to work on right now my schedule throughout the rest of the summer just because I don't really know what I'm going to do right now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a fantastic day. Peace.